In this video, I'm going to be ranking the best center cards here on a tier list in NBA 2K25 Myteam, ranking from S that does go all the way down to D tier, and we have about 35-ish of the best center cards in this entire game, and as you guys most likely know yesterday, we got one of the new best centers in my team in Dark Matter Taco. Now, I think Taco Fall is probably either very high A or going to be somewhere in the S tier category. I feel like you have to put Taco in S. I know a lot of people don't think this card's worth his price, and I can understand that argument, but this Taco Fall card is genuinely insane. 7'5" at center with an 8'2" wingspan. I understand people aren't going to look at this card as good of a card just because he's unaffordable to a lot of the community, and that makes sense because, you know, a card like the Dikembe Mutombo that we'll talk about here in a second is a lot more accessible. A card like Galaxy Wemby is a lot more accessible because they only go for 400 to 600k, where Taco right now is going for upwards of like 1.3 to 1.5 mil. But Taco Fall is really that good. I don't think he's worth that price compared to those other center cards, but I do think as a card, he is better. I like him over Galaxy Wemby. As a center card, I like him over Dark Matter Dikembe, and we'll talk about those center cards here in a second. I feel like this card is unbelievably good. You have to remember, the strength, the player model, the weight does make a huge difference when it comes between the comparison of Taco and Victor Wembanyama, but as we get to those cards, we'll kind of compare them. I do think Taco Fall is an S tier center though. Talking about the Pink Diamond Wemby, at this stage of the game, I'm going to have to put Pink Diamond Wemby in B tier. Now this card is unbelievably good. I mean, obviously, right? This card is still good at the center position, 7'4" with a 7'8" wingspan. He's going to have a good jump shot, one of the most uncontestable releases in this game, but he does only have 79 speed, 77 agility, 79 vertical, 70 strength, and that's something that you have to note about and you have to consider when you're running a center card. To have that low of speed, it's not going to be great to have, so I think for that reason, we are going to be putting maybe Pink Diamond Wemby a little bit lower than you expect, but to me it makes sense putting Pink Diamond Wemby in that B tier category. Talking about Dark Matter Rudy Gobert, I feel like because of his jump shot, can you put him much higher than B tier? I feel like you could, but I'm gonna go probably B tier for Rudy Gobert. He does have amazing defense, a really good player model, he's a great rebounder, but realistically I do feel like he's a B tier center. Talking about Dark Matter Hakeem, honestly at the center position, he's probably going to be one of the worst centers on this entire tier list. We need to see a new Hakeem card because he's had this Dark Matter for so long, and cards like Wilt and D-Rob now and Kareem and all the other centers that you would expect to get, you know, these top tier invincibles and 100 overalls, they've just not shown any love to Hakeem Olajuwon, so he's got to get a new card very, very soon in my team. But this Dark Matter just doesn't cut it for me anymore at the center position. At least I do feel like he's going to be in D tier. We got, I would say, two easy S tier cards. Now Shaq is more of a power forward in my opinion, but I wanted to put this card on the list because some people might want to run this card at center. He's still 7'1" with a 7'7" wingspan. He's still got one of the best player models in this game. He's got a great jump shot, Pro 2 fade, the best dribble saves in this game. He is a card that can be a small ball center. He's not as tall as a Taco Fall or a Yao Ming and some other cards that we'll talk about, but he has the ability to take you off the dribble, kind of play more of that 5-out spacing at the center position, just because he does have those incredible dribble saves, and I think for that reason, gotta put Shaq in the S tier category. Talking about his 100 overall card, still a really good center. Both him and Galaxy Wemby are going to be in A tier. They're great options at center. Shaq, again, when it comes to his 100 overall card, isn't as good as his invincible because of the dribble saves, but honestly does have a better jump shot, in my personal opinion. And then when it comes to Galaxy Wemby, the reason why, again, like I don't think Wemby is good as the reason why I think Wemby is not as good as Taco, at least when it comes to the Galaxy Wemby, is because if we compare the cards here, right? Yes, Wemby is probably better for his price, and if you don't have a lot of MT to spend, it's probably better to get Wemby. He's probably a better value card for the amount of MT he goes for compared to Taco. But Taco to me is the better card. When you look at the stat comparison, the speed is very close, but the big difference, I mean, Wemby does have a plus 10 3 ball. That's obviously quite a big of a difference, but to me, I feel like the plus 25 strength is a huge difference maker, and he also weighs 289 pounds compared to 210 pounds. That's a huge weight difference, and the player model on Taco is a lot wider, and I feel like he gets those glitchy animations and defensive rebounding animations and those glitchy animations that Wemby gets, but he's got also 4 inches on the wingspan and also an inch on the height. With debatably the better jump shot, I mean, Wemby's release is definitely more uncontestable, but Taco's release is a lot faster, so it just kind of depends what you want at the center position. But I was so impressed with Taco's release that I do feel like for me personally, I think he's going to be that tier above in the S tier category. Dark Matter Kareem, he's on the same ranking as, Rudy Gobert, as, other Pink Diamond Wemby. I think Donovan Clingan also is going to be in B tier. You guys might think it's a little bit low, and I can understand, but we're going to have some center cards that I just think are objectively better, like Galaxy Opal Wemby and 100 overall Shaq. They're just better center cards to me compared to Dark Matter Kareem, Dark Matter Rudy Gobert, and Pink Diamond Clingan. Pau Gasol is going to be in D tier. Just not a great center card. Dark Matter D-Rob for me is C tier. He can still be usable. This is obviously not his GO card, and we'll talk about GO D-Rob here in a second, but his Dark Matter is good. I just don't think he's all that great because of the jump shot. Yes, he's going to have good speed. He's got a good player model. He's good defensively. I just do not like his jump shot, and for me personally, I do think D-Rob's going to have to be in C tier. 100 overall Yao, I mean, you guys know where this card's going. He's still an S tier center. It's still 100 overall Yao with 99 speed, has a good jump shot. Do I think Taco's as good as Yao? No, Yao Ming is the better card, but do I think Taco is somewhat, considerably close in a comparison? I think you can make the comparison. Yao Ming is definitely better because of the speed, but other than that, I don't think there's too much of a difference when it comes to the speed, other than the speed when it comes to Yao Ming and Taco Fall at the center position. Talking about Dark Matter Dikembe, this is where I feel like Dikembe goes very high A tier. I don't think he's an S tier center. He's probably more of a power forward now if you're going to run a card like, Yao or Taco, just because they're taller at the center position. But Dikembe is probably the better card compared to Taco Fall. Like Dikembe, I would say, is the better card because he can play power forward. But I do think at the center position, I would rather Taco Fall. Dark Matter Zach Edey, he's going to be another A tier guy. Another guy who's 7'5" with a 7'10" wingspan. He's like a close card to Taco, but I feel like Taco's release is a lot better. I feel like he gets better defensive animations. That's just my personal preference. Pink Diamond Eddie Curry, not a great center card. I mean, realistically, he's going in D tier alongside Patrick Ewing. Invincible Victor Wembanyama, still the best center card in this game to me. 7'4" at center, 7'8" wingspan, incredibly good jump shot. They gave Wemby the best SIGs in the game. He's just unbelievable. He's still got to be in that S tier category. Talking about Galaxy Opal Hassan Whiteside, I feel like he's decent at center. I'm going to go Hassan Whiteside in that C tier category. Dark Matter Mark Eden and Will Chamberlain. See, this is what I'm talking about. These are both easy A tier guys that are just objectively better than like a Dark Matter Kareem, a Dark Matter Rudy Gobert. Mark Eden is a huge center, has a great player model just like Zach Edey. And then Will Chamberlain has an 8-foot wingspan, one of the best player models in this game with an incredibly good catch and shoot jump shot. He gets amazing offensive rebounding animations. He creates so many second chance points for you that I do feel like he has to be an A tier. GOAT D-Rob is going to be an S. Now, I will say D-Rob is to me a lot better at the power forward position just because I feel like that's where you'd rather run this card. If you want to run him at center, I mean, he has 40 legend badges. He's going to be perfectly fine at the center position, but I'm going to go D-Rob in S tier, even though I think he's more of a power forward. Bargnani, he's a solid option at power forward or center. I do think he's going to be in C tier. Roy Hibbert, I would say, is also C. Bull's going to be in B tier. I don't like this card's jump shot, whatever, whatsoever, but I do think like he's a better card than a Roy Hibbert, a Hassan Whiteside at the center position. Probably more of a power forward, but he is 7'3" with a 7'7" wingspan, so you can definitely run this card at center if you guys wanted to, but his jump shot is just absolutely horrendous. Galaxy Opal JaVale McGee, he's okay. He's going to be in C tier. Dark Matter Sar, I do like at power forward. I feel like Dark Matter Sar is going to be in B tier. Walker Kessler going to be in C. 100 overall Chet, got to go A tier in my opinion. Probably on the lower end of A tier, but Chet has a really good player model. He plays great defense at the center position, and I do like Chet's jump shot quite a bit. Wang ZZ is going to be in C tier. 100 overall Kristaps has to be in that A tier category. Now I will say his invincible card is going to go in S. I mean, he's just a better card compared to his 100 overall version, and Kristaps is again a card that I would probably play at power forward personally, but I do think this Kristaps card is still absolutely insane at the center position. Dark Matter DeAndre Ayton, a really good center card. He's going to go in B tier. Artis Gilmore, I would say, is also going to be in B tier. Joel Embiid, I mean, I guess you could go B, but I'm going to say realistically C tier for Joel Embiid, and then Channing Frye also going to be in that C tier category. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about my center card tier list? In my opinion, these are the best 7 centers in the S tier category. I can understand people might have Taco Fall down in A tier, maybe swap that out for like a Dikembe, a Wemby. I can understand that, but to me, I really like Taco Fall as a center card in this game. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this tier list down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.